The gavel crashes like thunder in Birmingham's stuffy courtroom as Judge Victor Grayson sentences us, Talia and Tamika Jackson, to 20 years for a robbery we never touched. We're 19, black, innocent, yet the all-white jury didn't flinch. Grayson's smug grin fades when we lock eyes and whisper, "We know what you fear." His face drains white, hands quake, and he bolts, adjourning court. Our mother Loretta crumples, sobbing. What secret terrifies him, and how will it haunt us forever? Before we dive in, tell us where you're watching from, and if you stand for justice, hit like and subscribe, because tomorrow's explosive episode is one you can't miss. Sweat sticks our shirts to our backs as we trudge home from the community college library, the Alabama sun sinking low over Birmingham's cracked sidewalks. It's a Tuesday in May, and we're 19, Talia and Tamika Jackson, twins with the same tight curls and sharp eyes, lugging textbooks for a biology exam we've been cramming for all semester. Our sneakers scuff the pavement, and we're joking about how Professor Hayes will flunk us if we mix up mitosis and meiosis again. The air smells of fried chicken from Miss Ruby's diner across the street, and for a moment, everything feels normal, like we're just two sisters dreaming of nursing degrees and a life beyond these worn-out streets. Then the world flips upside down. Blue lights flash behind us, and tires screech as two cop cars skid to a halt. We freeze, books slipping from our hands, pages fluttering onto the asphalt like wounded birds. 4 officers leap out, guns drawn, faces twisted with something, uglier than anger. "Hands up now," one bellows, a stocky white guy with a buzz cut and a sneer that shows too many teeth. We raise our arms, hearts slamming against our ribs, confusion choking our throats. "What's happening?" Tamika manages, her voice trembling but steady enough to demand an answer. "Shut up," another cop snaps, this one taller, with a patchy beard and eyes like chipped ice. He grabs her wrist, yanking her forward, and I lunge to pull her back only to feel cold metal snap around my own arms. They slam us against the hood of the car, the heat searing our skin through our clothes. My cheek presses into the gritty surface, and I taste blood where my lip splits against my teeth. "You're under arrest for armed robbery," Buzzcut growls, his knee digging into my spine. "Liquor store on 5th, don't play dumb." Tamika twists her head to look at me, her eyes wide with the same panic flooding my chest. "We were at the library," she shouts, voice cracking. "Check the cameras. Ask anyone." The tall cop laughs, a dry, jagged sound, and shoves her harder. "Sure you were, sweetheart. Tell it to the judge." Handcuffs bite into our wrists as they drag us to the squad car. I catch a glimpse of Miss Ruby peering out her diner window, her apron clutched in her fists, but she turns away fast like she's seen this too many times. The ride to the station is a blur of static radio chatter and the cops' muttered slurs. Words we've heard whispered behind hands our whole lives now spat in our faces. "Thieves like you always think you're slick," Buzzcut says, glancing at us in the rearview mirror. "Not this time." We sit shoulder to shoulder, hands trapped behind us, the plastic seat sticking to our thighs. My mind races, trying to piece together how a 3-mile-away robbery we didn't do landed us here. At the station, they shove us into a holding cell, the clang of the bars echoing like a death knell. Our books are gone, lost somewhere on that sidewalk, and the fluorescent lights buzz overhead, bleaching the concrete walls a sickly grey. A detective saunters in, a wiry man with a mustache and a clipboard, flipping pages like he's bored. "Talia and Tamika Jackson, right? CCTV caught you running from the store. Wallet with your prints found at the scene." He smirks, tapping his pen against the paper. "Got anything to say?" I lean forward, chains rattling. "That's impossible. We were studying all night." "Check the library logs." He doesn't even look up. Funny how evidence says different. Hours later, they haul us to booking, fingerprints smudging ink onto our trembling hands. We're given orange jumpsuits that hang loose on our frames, the fabric scratching our skin, and a public defender who barely glances at us before muttering about plea deals. The trial comes fast, too fast, like the whole system's greased to grind us down. We sit in a courtroom that smells of polish and old paper, our mother, Loretta, clutching her rosary beads in the front row, her lips moving in silent prayer. The jury's all white, 12 faces staring at us like we're already guilty. their eyes cold and unblinking. The prosecution's case is a joke, but it's enough. Blurry CCTV shows two figures in hoodies, too grainy to make out faces, sprinting from the liquor store. A wallet with my name on it, some cheap leather thing I've never seen, magically appears in evidence, smudged with prints they swear are ours. Witnesses, a clerk and a bystander, stumble over their stories, eyes darting like they're reading a script. Our lawyer, a sweaty guy named Paul with a stained tie, objects half-heartedly, but Judge Victor Grayson shuts him down every time. Grayson's a mountain of a man, 6 feet tall with a bald head gleaming under the lights, his black robe billowing as he looms over the bench. His voice booms, deep and gravelly, cutting through the room like a blade. Order. The evidence speaks for itself. We watch it unfold, helpless, our stomachs twisting as the lies pile up. Tamika squeezes my hand under the table, her nails digging into my palm, and I squeeze back, trying to anchor us both. Paul calls the library clerk, who swears we were there. Till 9, but the jury just shifts in their seats, bored. Grayson smirks, a slow, crooked twist of his lips, and I catch something in his eyes. Satisfaction, maybe triumph. It's not just about us. It's personal. Then it hits me, a memory sharp as broken glass. Our father, Isaiah Jackson, dead 10 years now, his body found in a ditch after a protest against Grayson's crooked rulings. Loretta always said it wasn't an accident, that Grayson hated him for exposing the court's racism. This isn't random, it's revenge. The jury's out for 2 hours, barely long enough to pretend they deliberated. They shuffle back, heads down, and the foreman, a pinched-faced man with thinning hair, clears his throat. Guilty. The word lands like a punch, sucking the air from the room. Loretta gasps, her rosary slipping to the floor with a soft clatter, and Paul slumps, muttering about appeals. Grayson bangs his gavel, the sound reverberating off the walls, and stands to deliver the sentence. Talia and Tamika Jackson, for the crime of armed robbery, I sentence you to 20 years in state prison. His voice is steady, but that smirk lingers, a predator savoring the kill. We rise, legs shaky, the bailiff's hands already clamping onto our arms. The courtroom buzzes with whispers, but we tune it out, locking eyes across the chaos. This is it, the moment we've got, nothing left to lose. We turn to Grayson, his smug face glowing with victory, and lean close, our voices low but clear, cutting through the noise. We know what you fear. It's a shot in the dark, a bluff born from desperation and that flicker of recognition in his gaze. His reaction is instant, electric. His skin pales to ash, his hands tremble on the bench, and his eyes dart like a trapped animal's. He stammers, "Court adjourned," and bolts from the room, robe flapping behind him. The bailiff yanks us away, but we catch each other's gaze, a spark of something fierce igniting between us. He's scared, really scared. That bluff hit something deep, something he's buried under years of power and lies. As we're dragged toward the holding area, I replay his panic, the way his fingers shook, the sweat beading on his forehead. Tamika whispers, "It's about Dad." He knows we're onto him. She's right. Our father's death wasn't just a tragedy. It's the key to Grayson's terror, a secret he'll kill to keep. Back in his chambers, Grayson slams the door, chest heaving, and grabs his phone. "Find out what they know about Isaiah," he snaps to his clerk, voice tight with dread. He pulls a file from his desk, an old case stamped closed, and starts tearing pages, hands unsteady as memories flood back. A protest, a struggle, a body left in the dark. We're locked in a cell now, but we've got him rattled, and that's power we didn't have an hour ago. The iron door of Birmingham Women's Prison slams shut behind us, the sound bouncing off concrete walls like a gunshot in a canyon. We're Talia and Tamika Jackson, 19, black and innocent, but the orange jumpsuits they've forced us in to mark us as guilty in everyone's eyes. The air stinks of bleach and despair, thick enough to choke on, and the fluorescent lights buzz overhead, casting shadows that twist our faces into something we don't recognize. Our wrists still taste from the cuffs, and our lips are cracked from the dry heat of the squad car. But we stand shoulder to shoulder scanning this new hell. What kind of place have they thrown us into? How long can we hold on before it breaks us? The guards waste no time showing us who's boss. A burly woman with a buzz cut and a badge reading Officer Tate struts over, her boots thudding against the floor. "Well, well, fresh meat," she sneers, her voice dripping with venom. "Think you're tough, huh? Robbing stores like you own the place?" Her eyes rake over us, and she spits out a slur, the kind we've heard whispered in Birmingham's back alleys, but never so bold, so loud. My stomach twists and Tamika's hand brushes mine, a silent signal to stay calm. "We didn't do it," I say, keeping my voice steady despite the fear clawing up my throat. Tate laughs, a sharp bark that echoes and shoves me hard enough to make me stumble. "Tell that to the judge, Princess. They march us to a cell barely big enough for one, let alone two. The bunk beds are rusted, the mattress thin as paper, stained with things we don't want to name. A toilet squats in the corner, rusted and reeking, and the walls are scratched with names and curses from girls who came before us. We drop onto the bottom bunk, our knees touching, and try to breathe through the panic. "This can't be real," Tamika whispers, her voice trembling. "Grayson's behind it. He's scared of what we might know." I nod, replaying his pale face, those shaking hands. What did Dad uncover that's got a man like that running scared? Can we use it to get out of here? The first night, they don't let us sleep. Tate and another guard, a skinny guy with a scar across his cheek, bang on the bars every hour, shouting slurs and laughing when we flinch. "You don't belong here," Scarface mocks, his voice slimy. "Should have stayed in your lane." By morning our eyes burn and our heads throb, but we're still us, still together. Breakfast is a grey sludge they call oatmeal, shoveled onto cracked trays. I take a bite and gag. Something sharp cuts my tongue, a shard of glass glinting in the mush. Tamika's tray has the same, and we push it away, stomachs growling. Did they mean to hurt us? Or is this just how they treat us here? Either way, it's a message. We're nothing to them. Days bleed into each other, each one worse than the last. Tate catches me washing my face and drags me to solitary, a concrete box no bigger than a closet. "Talking back, huh?" she lies, slamming the door. The dark presses in, cold seeping through the walls, and I curl into a ball, counting breaths, to stay sane. Tamika gets the same a day later for asking about a phone call. When we're back together, we notice the guards watching us closer, their smirks sharper. "They're testing us," I whisper, and she nods, her jaw tight. "We've got to fight back. Grayson's not winning this." We hatch a plan, small but bold. There's a lawyer out there, Marcus Tate, no relation to the guard, who's been sniffing around Grayson's cases for years. If we can get a note to him about Grayson's panic, maybe he'll dig deeper. We bribe an inmate, a quiet girl named Lena with braids down her back, with our extra bread rations. She slips the note, scrawled on a torn page from a Bible we found, into the laundry cart, promising it'll reach Marcus. "Grayson framed us. He's scared of what we know about Isaiah Jackson," it reads. For 2 days we hold our breath, daring to hope. Could this be our ticket out? Will Marcus see through the lies, then it all crashes down? Tate storms into our cell at dawn, her face red with fury, Scarface trailing behind. "Think you're slick?" she roars, holding up our crumpled note. My heart sinks. They intercepted it. "Oh, you don't write nothing in here without us knowing," Scarface adds, cracking his knuckles. Before we can react, Tate grabs me by the hair, yanking me to the floor, and Scarface pins Tamika against the wall. Fists fly, boots slam into our ribs, and blood fills my mouth, hot and coppery. I hear Tamika gasp, her breath ragged as they kick her stomach, and I swing wildly, catching Tate's shin. It only makes her angrier. "You'll learn your place," she screams, her fist crashing into my jaw. They don't stop until we're crumpled heaps, bruises blooming across our skin like dark flowers. My left eye swells shut, and Tamika's clutching her side, wheezing. They drag us to the infirmary, not for help, but to dump us on the floor, laughing as they leave. The nurse, an older woman with tired eyes, patches us up in silence, her hands shaking like she's seen this too often. "Stay quiet," she mutters, barely audible. "They'll kill you next time." We limp back to our cell, pain shooting through every step, but our minds race. How did they find the note so fast? Is Grayson pulling strings even here? Meanwhile, Judge Victor Grayson sits in his chambers, the Birmingham skyline sprawling beyond his window, the rooms heavy with the scent of cigar smoke and leather, his desk piled with law books he hasn't opened in years. His bald head shines under the lamp as he stares at a file, fingers trembling. Its old edges yellowed, marked Isaiah Jackson, closed. He flips it open, revealing grainy photos, a protest 20 years back, Isaiah leading a crowd. Outside this very courthouse, signs demanding Grayson's resignation. Then the last page, a coroner's report calling it a hit and run, but Grayson knows better. He remembers that night, the rain-slicked street, the deal Isaiah wouldn't take, the shove that sent him into traffic. No witnesses, no proof, just a secret he's buried deep. His clerk, a wiry man named Ellis, knocks and steps in holding a fax. Prison says the twins tried to send this. Grayson snatches it, reading our words, and his breath catches. We know what you fear. His pulse hammers in his ears and he grabs a lighter, setting the file's edges ablaze. Flames lick the paper as he tosses it into a metal trash can, smoke curling up like ghosts. They're bluffing, he mutters, but his voice shakes. They can't know. He picks up the phone, dialing the warden. Make sure they don't talk again. Rough them up, whatever it takes. Ellis nods, slipping out, and Grayson leans back, sweat beading on his neck. What if they're not bluffing? What if Isaiah told them something before he died? Back in our cell, we huddle on the bunk, pain throbbing through our bodies. My jaw aches with every word, but I force them out. He's scared, Tamika. That beating means we hit a nerve. She nods, wincing as she shifts. We've got to keep pushing. Marcus might still help. Our plan's in tatters, our bodies broken, but Grayson's fear is a crack in his armor. We whisper ideas, plotting through the haze of hurt. Can we find another way out? Will Grayson's next move be worse? Drop a comment with number 1 if you think we should have seen that betrayal coming. Hit like if you're rooting for us to fight back, and subscribe because this prison's about to get uglier. What happens when Grayson realizes his secrets slipping through his fingers? The news hits us like a fist to the gut, sharp and sudden, stealing the air from our cramped cell in Birmingham Women's Prison. We're Talia and Tamika Jackson, 19, bruised and battered, clinging to the thin hope that Marcus Tate, the lawyer we pinned our escape on, could crack this nightmare wide open. But now Lena, the inmate with braids who smuggled our last note, shuffles over during yard time, her eyes darting like she's scared to even speak. Marcus is dead. She whispers, voice low under the clang of metal gates. Car crash last night. They're saying he was drunk. My knees buckle, and Tamika grabs my arm, steadying me as the world tilts. We stumble back to the chain-link fence, gripping the cold wire until our knuckles ache. The yard's a grey sprawl of concrete and razor wire, inmates milling around under the watchful eyes of guards perched in towers. Drunk? Tamika mutters, her voice tight with disbelief. Marcus didn't drink, not a drop. I nod, replaying every meeting with him. Sharp suit, sharper mind, always scribbling notes about Grayson's dirty rulings. This wasn't an accident. It's Grayson, reaching out from his cushy chambers to snap the one lifeline we had left. The guards' smirks as they pace by tell us they know it too, their boots scuffing the ground like they're daring us to cry. Back in our cell, we sit on the bunk, knees touching, the silence heavy with loss. My ribs still throb from Tate's beating, and Tamika's got a limp she won't admit to, but this hurts worse. He was our shot, I say, voice cracking. Grayson's scared enough to kill. Tamika's eyes harden, glinting in the dim light. Then we make him regret it. We've got to get loud. Her words spark something in me, a flicker of fight through the fog of despair. We're trapped, beaten, but not broken. Not yet. If Grayson thinks he can bury us with Marcus, he's wrong. We decide to go big, to scream where whispers failed. A hunger strike. No food, no compliance, just us against this racist machine until someone listens. We spread the word through Lena, who nods like she's ready to join us, her hands twisting nervously. By morning, we push our trays away, the grey sludge untouched, and sit cross-legged on the cell floor, staring down Officer Tate as she storms in. What's this? She snaps, her buzz cut, glinting under the lights. "Think you're too good for prison food?" I meet her glare, chin up. "We're done eating your poison till someone investigates Marcus's death," Tamika adds, and Grayson's frame up. Tate's face twists, red and furious, but she stomps off, barking orders into her radio. Word spreads fast. By noon, the local news van's parked outside, a blonde reporter in a red blazer talking into a camera. We catch snippets through a cracked window. Inmates Talia and Tamika Jackson, convicted of armed robbery, claim innocence and demand justice after their lawyer's suspicious death. My chest swells with something like hope, fragile but real. Tamika squeezes my hand, her breath quickening. "It's working," she whispers. "They're listening." We imagine the city buzzing, Loretta watching from home, her rosary beads clicking as she prays harder. Maybe this'll force a real look at Grayson's lies, at the planted wallet, the blurry footage, the whole sham that landed us here. But hope's a trickster. That night, the TV in the common room flickers to a different story. The same blonde reporter's back, her tone clipped. Sources say the twins' hunger strike is a stunt by ungrateful inmates exploiting a tragic accident. No evidence supports their claims. My stomach drops, not from hunger, but betrayal. Tamika's fist slams the bunk, the sound sharp in the quiet. "He got to her," she growls. "Grayson paid her off." We're 3 days without food now, dizzy and weak, but the guards don't care. They swagger by, tossing insults like grenades. "Starve all you want," Scarface sneers, his scarred cheek twitching. "Nobody's buying your sob story." Then they hit us harder. At midnight, Tate and Scarface barge in, their flashlights blinding us as we huddle on the floor. "Strike's over," Tate declares, grabbing my arm with a grip that bruises. Scarface hauls Tamika up, her bad leg buckling under her weight. We're too weak to fight as they drag us down a dank hallway, the air growing colder, wetter. They shove us into a basement cell, a concrete hole with no windows, no light, just a rusted grate in the floor. Water seeps up, icy and black, pooling around our ankles as they lock the door. "Cool off down here," Tate jeers, her laugh echoing. As they leave, the water climbs fast, lapping at our waists, then our chests, thick with filth that stings our cuts. Panic claws at me, my teeth chattering as I grab Tamika's hand. "They're drowning us," I gasp, the cold numbing my legs. She presses against me, shivering but fierce. They won't win. We're still breathing. The water's up too. Our necks now, forcing us to tread, our arms burning with the effort. Hours pass, or maybe minutes, time's a blur in the dark. My lungs ache, and Tamika's gasps grow ragged, but we hold each other up, whispering Dad's old protest chants to keep sane. "No justice, no peace," we murmur, voices hoarse, the words a lifeline against the flood. Did Grayson order this? Is this what he does to anyone who dares speak? The grate clanks open just as my strength fails, my head dipping under. Guards wade in, cursing as they yank us out, soaked and shaking. They dump us back in our regular cell, dripping and half dead, the mattress soaking through under our weight. My skin's pruned, my bones ache, and Tamika's coughing up water, but we're alive. Barely. "They didn't expect us to last," she rasps, wiping her mouth. I nod, shivering. "Grayson's losing it. That's why he's hitting so hard." We curl together, sharing what little warmth we've got, our minds racing despite the exhaustion. He's scared enough to kill Marcus, to drown us. What's he hiding that's worth all this? In his mansion across town, Judge Victor Grayson paces a study lined with oak shelves, the Birmingham skyline glittering beyond floor-to-ceiling windows. His bald head shines with sweat, his robe swapped for a silk shirt that clings to his broad frame. The TV's on mute, replaying the reporter's spin, his bribe working like a charm. But his hands won't stop shaking. He grabs a whiskey bottle, splashing amber liquid into a tumbler, and downs it, the burn doing nothing to calm him. Marcus Tate's death was clean, a staged crash, brake lines cut, bottle planted, but the twin strike rattled him. Too close. Too loud. He slams the glass down, cracking it, and dials the warden. "They're still talking," he snaps, voice low and tight. Flood didn't shut them up. The warden stammers, promising more, but Grayson cuts him off. "I want them broken. No more leaks." He hangs up, stalking to a safe hidden behind a painting of a Confederate general. Inside, a burner phone and a list of names. Cops, reporters. Now Marcus crossed out in red. He dials another number, a shadow from his past. "They're digging," he says, gripping the phone. "If they find it, we're done. End this." The voice on the other end agrees, cold and clipped, and Grayson exhales, staring at the city lights. Isaiah's ghost is out there, whispering, through his daughters, and he'll bury them all to keep it quiet. Back in our cell, we're shivering wrecks, but our eyes meet, a silent pact forming. Marcus is gone, the strike's crushed, and we nearly drowned, but Grayson's fear is our weapon. "He thinks we've got proof," I say, voice raw. "Let's make him believe it." Tamika nods, coughing but grinning through the pain. Next. Move's ours. We've got no food, no lawyer, no trust left, but we've got each other, and that's enough to keep fighting. Grayson's coming for us harder now, and we'll be ready. The air in Birmingham Women's Prison feels thicker now, heavy with the stench of mildew and the weight of our last beating. We're Talia and Tamika Jackson, 19, soaked to the bone from that basement flood, our orange jumpsuits clinging to bruised skin. My jaw's still swollen, and Tamika's limp is worse, but we sit on our bunk plotting through the haze of pain. Grayson's scared, that much we know, his panic driving every blow we've taken. Marcus's murder, the drowned cell, it's all him clawing to keep us quiet. What's he so afraid we'll uncover? How far will he go to bury it? A shadow falls across our cell bars, and we look up to see Sheila, a white inmate with stringy blonde hair and a nervous twitch. She's been here longer than us, her arms marked with faded tattoos, her eyes darting like she's always watching her back. "Heard what they did to you," she says, voice low, glancing at the guards pacing the hall. "That's messed up. I can help." My stomach twists. Trust is a gamble here, but Tamika leans forward, curious. "Help how?" Sheila steps closer, her sneakers squeaking on the concrete. "I've got a cousin outside, works with a civil rights group. I can get your story to them. Grayson's name, everything." We exchange a look, hearts pounding. After Marcus, after Lena's intercepted note, we're desperate for an out. "Why risk it?" I ask, narrowing my eyes. Sheila shrugs, chewing her lip. "I hate seeing girls like you get screwed. Reminds me of my sister." Her words sound rehearsed, but we're too worn down to care. Tamika nods, and I pull a scrap of paper from under the mattress, scribbling fast. "Grayson framed us for robbery. Panicked when we said we know what he fears. It's about our dad, Isaiah Jackson, dead 10 years. Dig into it." Sheila tucks it into her bra, promising it'll reach her cousin by morning. For 2 days, we hold our breath, watching her every move. She nods at us in the yard, whispers updates about her cousin's contacts, and we dare to hope again. Then it happens. Shouts echo outside, muffled but growing louder. We press against the cell's tiny window, bars cutting into our palms, and see them. Dozens of protesters clogging the prison gates, signs bobbing in the air. "Free the Jackson twins," one reads, bold black letters on white cardboard. "Justice for Isaiah," another screams in red paint. My chest swells, tears prickling my eyes, and Tamika grips my shoulder, grinning. "They heard us," she breathes. "We're getting out." The noise swells, a chant rising like a storm. No justice, no peace. Loretta's out there somewhere. We know it, her voice joining the chorus. Guards scramble, barking into radios, their faces tight with panic. For a moment, we're winning. Grayson's name is out, the city's listening, and the pressure's on. We imagine him squirming in his chambers, that bald head sweating under the weight of exposure. Did Sheila really pull this off? Can this crowd force the truth into the light? We cling to the bars, dizzy with hunger and hope, whispering plans for when we're free. Then the cell door flies open and Officer Tate storms in, her buzz cut gleaming, Scarface looming behind her. "You little rats," she snarls, grabbing my arm so hard my shoulder pops. Sheila's there too, standing in the hall, arms crossed, a smirk twisting her lips. My blood runs cold. "What's this?" Tamika demands, struggling as Scarface yanks her up. Sheila steps forward, pulling our note from her pocket and waving it like a trophy. "Thought you could trust me," she says, voice dripping with mock pity. "Grayson pays better. Been his eyes in here since you arrived." The betrayal hits like a brick, knocking the wind from us. We thrash, but the guards are stronger, dragging. Thirst down the hall as Sheila's laugh echoes behind. "You set us up," I shout, twisting to glare at her, but she just shrugs, pocketing the cash Tate slips her. Our hope, our protest, it was a trap. Every word we gave her fed straight to Grayson. They haul us to a room with a flickering screen, a disciplinary hearing they call it, but it's a farce. Grayson's face appears via video, his bald head filling the frame, his eyes glinting with triumph. "You've caused enough trouble," he says, voice smooth as oil. 6 months in the isolation block. No light, no sound, enjoy. The guards don't wait for us to speak. They drag us to the block, a row of steel doors in the prison's gut, and shove us into a cell so dark it swallows us whole. The door clangs shut, and the silence is suffocating, pressing against our eardrums. No windows, no bunk, just cold concrete and air that tastes of rust. My hands fumble for Tamika, finding her trembling fingers, and we sink to the floor, backs against the wall. "Sheila played us," I whisper, voice shaking with rage. Grayson's one step ahead. Tamika's breath hitches, but she squeezes my hand. "We're still alive. That's something." The dark stretches on, hours or days, we can't tell. Our stomachs growl, our bruises throb, and the silence gnaws at us, turning every creak into a ghost. I trace the wall with my nails, carving shapes to keep my mind sharp, while Tamika hums Dad's old protest songs, her voice faint but steady. Grayson thinks this'll break us, that we'll crumble in the void. He's wrong. Every ache, every betrayal fuels us, sharpening our resolve. What did he pay Sheila to do next? How much deeper can he bury us? Across town, Judge Victor Grayson sits in his chambers, the city's skyline dim beyond his window. His silk shirt's unbuttoned, sweat staining the collar, and a cigar smolders in an ashtray, filling the room with a bitter haze. The protest footage loops on his TV, muted but menacing, those signs flashing Isaiah's name like a curse. He slams a fist on his desk, papers scattering, and grabs a file from a locked drawer. It's the same one he burned pages from before, but now he flips to a photo. Isaiah bloodied on a rainy street, Grayson's younger self looming in the background, a shadow in a cop's uniform. "So you should have stayed quiet," he mutters, voice trembling. He remembers the deal. Isaiah was supposed to back off, let Grayson's rulings slide, take a cut of the fines raked in from black neighborhoods, but Isaiah said no, rallied the crowd, threatened to expose it all. So Grayson ended it, a push into traffic, a quick cover-up. No one asked questions back then. Now his daughters are digging, and Sheila's note confirmed it. It's about Isaiah. He grabs his phone, dialing a number he hasn't used in years. "They're in isolation," he says, voice low, "but they're stubborn. If they talk again, make it permanent." The line crackles with agreement, and he leans back, exhaling. Smoke. Isaiah's defiance cost him his life. His girls won't cost Grayson his. Back in the black cell, we cling to each other, our breaths sinking in the dark. My nails bleed from scratching the wall, and Tamika's humming fades, her energy draining. "He's not stopping," she whispers, voice raw, "but neither are we." I nod, unseen but felt, and we start planning, our words barely audible. Sheila's betrayal stung. The protest's collapse crushed us. But Grayson's fear is our edge. We'll find another way, another voice. Drop a comment with number 1 if you think we should have trusted Sheila. Hit like if you're mad Grayson's winning. And subscribe because this fight's far from over. What happens when 6 months in the dark turns us into something he can't control? The darkness of the isolation block in Birmingham Women's Prison is a living thing, wrapping around us like a shroud, thick and suffocating. We're Talia and Tamika Jackson, 19, locked in this pitch-black cell for 6 months now, our bodies shrinking, our minds fraying. The concrete floor is our bed, cold and unyielding, biting into our hips as we huddle together, knees drawn up, hands clasped to keep from losing each other. My nails are cracked from scratching the walls, leaving faint grooves I can't see but feel, and Tamika's voice has gone hoarse from humming Dad's protest songs, the only sound keeping us sane. Time's a ghost here, slipping through our fingers with no sun, no clock, just endless night. The first weeks were the worst. Hunger gnawed at us, sharper than the guards' fists, our stomachs twisting into knots after the hunger strike failed. They fed us eventually, shoving trays of stale bread and watery gruel through a slot, but it barely kept us alive. My ribs poke through my skin now, and Tamika's limp has turned into a constant tremble, her leg weak from that basement flood. Shadows move in the dark sometimes, tricks of our exhausted minds. Dad's face, Loretta's tears, Grayson's smirk. He thinks we're done, I whisper one night, my throat dry as sandpaper. Tamika shifts, her breath warm against my cheek. He's wrong. We're tougher than he knows. 6 months crawl by, each day a battle to hold on. My hair's matted, falling out in clumps, and Tamika's got sores on her arms from the damp. But we talk, plan, dream. We carve words into the wall with a splintered spoon we found. Isaiah, Justice, Grayson, our defiance etched in secret. The silence screams sometimes, and I hear voices that aren't there, telling me to give up. Tamika hears them too, but we fight them off, whispering memories of Dad's rallies, his voice booming through Birmingham's streets. They can't take that from us, she says, and I cling to it, a lifeline in the void. Then the door clangs open, light stabbing our eyes like knives. We flinch, shielding our faces, our bodies frail as twigs after half a year in the dark. Officer Tate stands there, her buzz cut a silhouette against the glare, her smirk wider than ever. "Time's up, princesses," she says, voice dripping, with mock cheer. Back to the real world. Scarface grabs my arm, yanking me up, and Tate hauls Tamika to her feet, her bad leg buckling. We stumble into the hall, blinking at the fluorescent buzz, our skin pale and gaunt, our jumpsuits hanging like sacks. The other inmates stare as we pass, their whispers a dull roar, and for a moment, we feel it. Victory. We survived. Grayson's. Punishment didn't break us. The guards ease off at first, a strange shift that lifts our spirits. Tate skips her usual slurs, and Scarface doesn't shove us into walls. We're back in our old cell, the bunker luxury after the floor, and we eat real food. Greasy potatoes, tough meat, our stomachs cramping as they adjust. "They're scared," Tamika says, chewing slowly, her eyes glinting. "Grayson's losing his grip." I nod, swallowing hard. We outlasted him, that's power. We start planning again, whispering about finding another way to reach the outside, maybe through Lena or a new ally. The air feels lighter, like we've turned a corner, but Grayson's not done. A week later, the yard's tense, inmates clustering in tight groups, their eyes flicking to us with something dark. We're stretching our legs, soaking in the sun's weak warmth when it hits. A scream cuts the air, and 3 women charge, our shivs gleaming in their fists, crudely sharpened spoons glinting with intent. "Snitches," one yells, a tall girl with a scar across her lip, lunging at me. I dodge, heart hammering, as Tamika kicks out, catching another in the knee. The third slashes at my arm, blood blooming hot and red, and I swing back, fist connecting with her jaw. Chaos erupts, fists and feet flying. The yard a blur of orange and rage. We fight like cornered animals, backs pressed together, blood streaking our jumpsuits. My arm throbs, and Tamika's panting, her leg barely holding her up, but we don't. Stop. Guards watch from the towers, arms crossed, grinning like it's a show. The tall girl grabs my hair, yanking me down, and I elbow her throat, gasping as she chokes. Tamika wrestles the shiv from another, tossing it into the dirt, and we stumble free, bruised and bleeding, but alive. The attackers scatter as sirens. Wail. Guards finally stomping in to break it up, their batons swinging lazily. They drag us to the infirmary, dumping us on cots, the nurse stitching my arm with a scowl. "You're lucky," she mutters, her needle tugging skin. "Could have been your throat." We're shaking, adrenaline fading into pain, when Lena slips in, her braids swinging. "They're saying you snitched on a drug ring," she whispers, eyes wide. "That's why they jumped you." My stomach drops. "We didn't snitch," I hiss, and Tamika grips my hand, her voice low. "Grayson set this up. Paid them to kill us." The nurse glances over but says nothing, her lips tight. That night Tate storms our cell, Scarface behind her, a clipboard in his hands. "Riot starters," she sneers, jabbing a finger at us. 5 more years, courtesy of the warden. My breath catches and Tamika's fist clenches. We didn't start it, I shout, but Scarface laughs, a wet, ugly sound. Evidence says you did. Witnesses too. It's a lie, another frame-up, and we see Grayson's hand in it, his fear, twisting into something deadly. They leave us reeling, the cell door slamming, our sentence doubled for surviving his trap. 5 years. 5 more years in this hell because we wouldn't break. In his mansion, Judge Victor Grayson watches the riot footage on a private feed, his bald head gleaming under a chandelier. The study's thick with cigar smoke, a glass of whiskey trembling in his hand as he sees us fight, bleed, stand. His silk shirt's unbuttoned, sweat staining the fabric, and he slams the glass down, shattering it. They're still alive, he growls, pacing the hardwood floor. The protest faded after Sheila's betrayal, but this riot was his masterpiece, paid inmates, bribed guards, a story to bury us deeper. He grabs his phone, dialing the shadowy figure again. They survived, he snaps. 5 years won't hold them. End it for good. The line crackles, the voice calm but cold. It'll cost more, permanence messy. Grayson nods, staring at the screen, our bloodied faces frozen in defiance. Do it. I don't care how. He hangs up, stalking to a window, the Birmingham. Skyline sprawling below. Isaiah's daughters are a curse, clawing at his secrets, and he'll drown them in blood if he has to. The photo of that rainy night burns in his mind. Isaiah's body, his own hands pushing, and he knows we're close. Too close even if we're bluffing. Back in our cell we sit on the bunk, bandages itching, blood still crusted under our nails, my arm stitched, Tamika's legs swollen, but we're breathing, plotting. He staged that riot, I say, voice low, wanted us dead. Tamika nods, her eyes fierce despite the exhaustion, and pinned it on us. He's desperate. We find the guard's dropped phone in the chaos, a cracked burner half buried in the yard's dirt, and tuck it under the mattress. It's a lifeline, a chance to call Jamal, our hacker friend from college. Next time we're ready, she whispers, and I grin, pain be damned. Grayson's coming harder, but we've got a weapon now. The cracked burner phone feels like a grenade in our hands, its dim screen glowing faintly under the bunk in Birmingham Women's Prison. We're Talia and Tamika Jackson, 19, bloodied and battered from Grayson's staged riot, our orange jumpsuits stiff with dried sweat and dirt. My arms stitched tight, throbbing with every move, and Tamika's leg shakes when she stands, but we've got this lifeline now, snatched from the yard's chaos. The cell's concrete walls press in, the air stale and heavy, but we huddle. Close, whispering plans. Can we really pull this off? Will this phone be our way out or Grayson's next trap? We wait till lights out, the prison sinking into a restless quiet, guards' boots echoing faintly down the hall. Tamika's fingers tremble as she dials Jamal, our hacker friend from college, his number burned into our memory from late night. Study sessions. The line crackles, then his voice cuts through, sharp and surprised. Talia, Tamika, where you at? My heart leaps, and I keep my voice low. Prison. Framed. We need out. Tamika leans in, breath quick. Can you fake a transfer order? Get us moved somewhere softer. Jamal hesitates, then says, give me 2 days. Stay alive. The call drops, and we stash the phone, hope flickering in our chests. 2 days drag like years, every clang of bars making us jump. Officer Tate patrols closer now, her buzz cut glinting under the lights, her eyes narrowing like she smells something off. Scarface lingers too, his scarred cheek twitching as he watches us eat, like he's waiting for us to slip. We keep our heads down, playing weak, letting them think the riot broke us. Jamal's our ace, a wiry kid with a laptop and a grudge against the system, Grayson's system. If he pulls this off, we're gone. If he doesn't, we're dead. What's Grayson planning while we wait? How much time do we have left? The transfer order comes at dawn, a guard we don't know banging on our cell. Jackson twins, pack up, moving you to county. My pulse races, and Tamika's eyes meet mine, a silent cheer. We grab our few things, tattered socks, a bent spoon, and shuffle out. heads bowed to hide the spark. The guard's young, nervous, his hands fidgeting with the clipboard. Jamal did it. Hacked the system. Forged the papers. We're led to the laundry room. Swapped into janitor coveralls, grey and baggy. A disguise Jamal must have slipped in. "Keep moving," the guard mutters, shoving us toward a service exit. And we obey, hearts hammering. The prison's a maze of corridors. Bleach stinging our noses as we push mops, blending into the hum of morning chores. My arm aches, the stitches pulling, and Tamika's limp slows us. But we're close, 50 feet from the gate, then 40. The air shifts, fresher, the outside world teasing us through a cracked door. We pass a checkpoint, the guard barely glancing. At our fake IDs, and I taste freedom, sharp and sweet. 30 feet now, the gate looming, sunlight glinting off the razor wire. Can we make it? Will this be the moment Grayson's reign ends? Sirens explode, shattering the quiet, and our stomachs drop. Floodlights snap on, blinding us, and boots thunder from every direction. "Lock down!" a voice bellows, and we freeze, mops clattering to the floor. SWAT storms in, black armor glinting, rifles raised, their shouts a wall of noise. "Down! Down!" We hit the ground, concrete biting our knees, and they're on us, fists slamming into our backs, boots cracking, ribs. My head spins as a baton smashes my shoulder, blood pooling in my mouth, and Tamika's scream cuts through the chaos, her leg twisting under a kick. Cameras flash outside. Someone's filming, but it's too late. They drag us to the yard, a bloody heap in front of rolling lenses, the prison gate slamming shut behind us. My vision blurs, pain radiating from every bone, and Tamika's gasping beside me, her hand clawing for mine. The SWAT leader, a hulking man with a shaved head, radios in. "Escape attempt neutralized." Grayson's voice crackles back, smug and cold. "Good, spin it right." Hours later, we're patched up in the infirmary, bruised husks on cots when the TV flickers on. A news anchor's face fills the screen, her tone sharp. "Talia and Tamika Jackson, convicted robbers, attempted a violent breakout today, injuring guards. Authorities say they're a danger to society." My chest tightens, rage burning through the pain. "He set us up," I rasp, voice raw. Tamika nods, wincing as she shifts. "Someone snitched to him. The transfer was bait." The nurse glances over, her eyes flickering with pity, but she says nothing, stitching Tamika's split lip in silence. We're shipped out that night, cuffs cutting into our wrists, loaded into a van that rumbles through Alabama's back roads. The guards up front laugh, slurs slipping between them, and we slump against each other, the burner phone lost somewhere. In the chaos, where are they taking us? What fresh hell has Grayson cooked up? The van stops at Pinewood Max, a hulking fortress in rural Alabama. Its walls gray and pitted, surrounded by fields and silence. The gates groan open, and we're pulled out, the air thick with dust and menace. The guards here are different, bigger, meaner. Their uniforms stretch tight over muscled frames. One, a giant with a buzz cut and a swastika tattoo peeking from his sleeve, grins as he shoves us forward. "Welcome to the end of the line," he says, voice a low growl. Another flashes a Klan tattoo on his forearm, laughing as he locks us. In a cell twice as small as the last, the steel door slamming with finality. The cell's a coffin, bare concrete, a single bulb flickering overhead, a hole in the floor for a toilet. My shoulders screaming, Tamika's legs swollen purple, and we collapse against the wall, breath ragged. "Max security," I mutter, tasting blood. "He wants us gone for good." Tamika's eyes glint, fierce despite the pain. He's scared we'll talk. That phone was close. We're deeper in his grip now, surrounded by guards who wear their hate like badges, but we're still breathing, still thinking. Grayson's winning, but his fear's louder than ever. In his Birmingham mansion, Judge Victor Grayson watches the breakout footage on a loop, his bald head shining under a desk lamp. The study's dark, curtains drawn, a cigar smouldering in his hand as he paces. Our bloodied faces flash on screen, the anchor's voice droning about our violence, and he smirks, sipping whiskey from a cracked glass. The transfer was his idea, fed through a mole in the staff. A guard who spotted the phone and sang for cash. "Perfect," he mutters, exhaling smoke. "They're terrorists now." He dials the Pinewood warden, a gruff man he's owned for years. "Break them," he orders, voice tight. "No mercy." The warden agrees and Grayson hangs up, staring at a photo on his desk. Isaiah, dead in the rain, his own shadow looming. The twins' escape attempt was too bold, too close, and he feels Isaiah's ghost in their defiance, whispering through their every move. He grabs a file, flipping to a page he didn't burn. A list of payoffs, Isaiah's name circled, a deal, gone sour. "You should have taken it," he growls, crushing the cigar in his fist. "Pinewood's his endgame. Those tattooed guards will finish what the riot couldn't, and he'll sleep easy when they're gone." Back in our cell, we sit in the flickering light, pain pulsing through us. My shoulder's a mess. Tamika's leg's a swollen wreck, but we lock eyes, a silent vow. "He thinks this is checkmate," I say, voice low. "He's wrong." Tamika nods, her grin faint but real. We've got nothing left to lose. The guards outside laugh, their tattoos glowing in the shadows, but we're plotting, waiting. Grayson's coming harder and we'll meet him head on. Drop a comment with number 1 if you think we should have burned that phone. Hit like if you're raging at Grayson's trap. And subscribe because this max security nightmare's about to explode. What happens when we face guards who'd rather see us dead than breathing? The walls of Pinewood Max close in like a vice, the air thick with rust and sweat as we're thrown into this rural Alabama hellhole. We're Talia and Tamika Jackson, 19, our bodies a map of bruises from the botched escape. My shoulder, screaming with every breath. Tamika's leg swollen and useless. The cell's a concrete box, smaller than a coffin, with a flickering bulb casting jagged shadows over the steel door. The guards here aren't just cruel, they're monsters, their clan tattoos flashing as they shove us down, their laughter a low rumble that shakes our bones. We slump against the wall, blood crusted on our jumpsuits, and brace for what's coming. It starts fast. The giant with the swastika tattoo, Officer Vance, storms in at dawn, his buzz cut gleaming under the bulb. "Time for rehab," he growls, grabbing me by the hair and yanking me to my feet. Tamika lunges, but another guard, a wiry man with a Confederate flag inked on his neck, pins her arms, his grin showing yellow teeth. They drag us to a room down the hall, a dank pit with tiled walls and a drain in the floor. My stomach twists as they strap us to chairs, the leather biting our wrists, and Vance looms over us, a hose in his hands. "You black trash need a lesson," he says, voice thick with hate, and blasts us with water. The cold hits like a punch, slamming into our chests, stealing our breath. It's not just water, it's ice, sharp and relentless, soaking our jumpsuits, stinging our cuts. My head snaps back, water flooding my nose, and I choke, gagging as it burns my lungs. Tamika's coughing beside me, her leg jerking against the straps, and Vance laughs, cranking the pressure higher. "This'll wash the crime out of you," he jeers, aiming at our faces, the force splitting my lip again. They call it rehabilitation. But it's torture, pure and simple, their slurs echoing over the spray. Animals don't belong here. We thrash, helpless, the cold numbing our bones, but we lock eyes through the blur, a silent promise to endure. They don't stop at waterboarding. Days bleed into a haze of pain, electric prods jabbing our ribs, fists crashing into our stomachs, boots stomping our feet. Vance and his crew target us for being black, their hate a weapon sharper than their tools. "Grayson says you're trouble," the wiry guard sneers, his flag tattoo flexing as he twists my arm. "We'll fix that." My shoulder's a firestorm now, and Tamika's legs black with bruises. But we don't scream, don't give them the satisfaction. We're meat to them, but we're still us, still fighting in our heads. We rally the other inmates, whispering through the walls at night, tapping codes on the pipes. There's a dozen of us, black and brown girls chewed up by the system, and we've got a plan. Lena's here too, shipped over after Birmingham, her braids frayed but her spirit intact. "We need proof," I rasp, voice raw from the hose. Tamika nods, her eyes glinting. "Record them, show the world. We bribe a janitor with stolen bread, a shaky kid named Rico, and he slips us a cheap recorder, its plastic scratched but working. We hide it under a loose tile, waiting for the next round. It comes fast. Vance drags us to the torture room again, his swastika glowing under the lights, and we hit record as he starts. "You don't learn, do you?" he snarls, slamming me. Against the wall, my head ringing. Tamika's strapped down, the hose blasting her chest, and he spits slurs, each word a knife. Thieving, trash, good for nothing. The recorder catches it all. The water, the hate, the blows. Our gasps mixing with their laughter. Rico smuggles it out, and a week later, it's online. A grainy audio clip going viral. Pinewood guards torture black inmates. Protests. Flare, signs waving outside, and for a moment we taste victory, our hearts pounding through the pain. Grayson's counter comes like lightning. The TV in the common room flickers on, a news anchor's voice cutting through the static. Breaking. News: Pinewood inmate Talia Jackson confessed to murdering a guard, sources say. Her sister Tamika was an accomplice. My blood runs cold, and Tamika's hand grips mine, her nails digging in. "What?" I whisper, staring at the screen as footage rolls. Us in the yard, doctored to show us stabbing a guard who's still alive, walking these halls. The anchor continues. Authorities call them a lethal threat, pushing for swift execution. The room spins, inmates turning to glare, guards smirking like they've won. Vance storms in, his giant frame filling the doorway, and yanks us to our feet. "You're done," he growls, dragging us to a holding cell, the door slamming shut. My head's pounding, Tamika's trembling, but we piece it together fast. "Grayson staged it," she says, voice shaking with rage. "Planted a body, faked the video." I nod, tasting bile. He's burying the leak with this. The guards outside laugh, their tattoos flashing as they pace, and we hear them mutter about a quick trial. We're on death row now, the clock ticking, our victory flipped into a death sentence. In his Birmingham mansion, Judge Victor Grayson watches the news, his bald head shining under a chandelier's glow. The study's thick with cigar smoke, a whiskey bottle half empty on his desk, and he grins. A slow, crooked twist of his lips. The audio leak rattled him, protests shaking his grip, but this frame-up's genius, a dead guard, a bribed coroner, edited footage from Pinewood's cameras. "Perfect," he mutters, sipping the amber liquid, the burn steadying his nerves. He digs out an old photo from a safe, Isaiah holding a gun, a relic from their dirty deal 20 years back. "Your girls are done," he says to the image, planning to leak it next, proving our guilt. He dials the governor, a slick man he's owned for years. "Push the execution," he orders, voice tight. "No delays." The governor agrees, and Grayson leans back, exhaling smoke. The protests are loud, but this murder charge will drown them out, turn the public against us. He smashes a mirror with his fist, glass shattering, blood dripping as he screams, "Isaiah's dead, stay dead." The twins bluff. "We know." "What you fear," haunts him, a ghost he can't shake, and he's betting everything on their graves, silencing it. Back in the holding cell, we sit on the floor, backs against the wall, the bulb flickering overhead. My shoulders a wreck, Tamika's legs numb, and we're staring down a needle. "He's desperate," I say, voice low. "This is too big, too fast." Tamika nods, her eyes fierce despite the fear. "We've got to move quick." We smuggle a letter through Lena, scratched on a scrap of toilet paper, begging a journalist to dig into Grayson's panic, the audio, the frame-up. It's a long shot, but it's all we've got. Protests roar outside, a distant hum through the walls, and we cling to it, plotting in whispers as the clock ticks. The death row cell at Pinewood Max is a tomb, its steel walls cold and unyielding, the air stale with the scent of bleach and fear. We're Talia and Tamika Jackson, 19, our bodies battered husks after months of torture, my shoulder a knot of pain, Tamika's leg a swollen mess. The orange jumpsuits hang loose on our frames, stained with blood and sweat, and we sit on a single cot, backs pressed together, staring at the flickering bulb overhead. Grayson's murder frame-up landed us here, the fake guard killing pinning, us as killers, and now we're counting days till the needle. How did we end up staring down death? Can we claw our way out one more time? The guards waste no time reminding us where we stand. Officer Vance, his swastika tattoo flexing, bangs on the bars at dawn, his buzz cut glinting under the lights. "Dead girls walking," he jeers, tossing a tray of grey mush that splatters on the floor. We don't touch it. Hunger's an old friend now. But his words cut deeper, the hate in his eyes a promise of what's coming. They strap us to gurneys twice a day, rolling us to a prep room where they test the straps, the cold metal biting our wrists. Practice makes perfect, the wiry guard with the Confederate flag tattoo laughs, tightening the buckles till we bruise. We stay silent, locking eyes, our defiance a quiet fire they can't douse. We've got one shot left, and it's slim. Lena, our lifeline from Birmingham, slips us a pencil stub during a yard transfer, her braids brushing the bars as she whispers, "Write it fast." We huddle over a scrap of toilet paper, scratching out a letter to a journalist we've heard. About Sarah Miles, a Birmingham Tribune reporter who's been sniffing around Grayson's cases. "Grayson framed us for robbery, then murder," we write, hands trembling. "He panicked when we said we know what he fears. It's tied to Isaiah Jackson's death. Check Pinewood audio, dig deeper." Lena smuggles it out, promising Sarah'll get it, and we wait, hearts pounding through the dread. Days later, the TV in the common room crackles, Sarah's voice cutting through the static. New evidence questions the Jackson twins' murder charge. Leaked audio from Pinewood Max reveals guard brutality sparking outrage. My breath catches and Tamika's hand finds mine, squeezing tight. Protests erupt outside, a roar we feel through the walls. Hundreds, then thousands, chanting our names. "Free Talia and Tamika." Signs wave on the news. "Justice for the Jacksons." Loretta's there, her face tear-streaked but fierce, holding a photo of us in our graduation caps. The governor's face flashes next, slick and nervous, announcing a halt to our execution pending review. Hope surges, sharp and fragile, and we grin, dizzy with it. Did we finally break through? Is this the crack that topples Grayson? Grayson's counter hits like a freight train. The TV flickers again that night, a different anchor this time, his tone grave. Shocking twist. A Pinewood inmate claims the Jackson twins confessed to the guard's murder in a private talk. Execution's back on, expedited for public safety. My stomach drops and Tamika's gasp echoes in the cell. "Confessed?" I hiss, rage boiling over. "We never said a word." Vance storms in, his giant frame looming, and yanks us to our feet. "Your buddy sang," he sneers, dragging us to the prep room. "Grayson's got the cash to make it stick." We're strapped down again and he flips a switch, sending electric shocks through the chairs, not lethal, but enough to make us scream. The shocks rip through us, fire racing up my spine, my shoulder seizing as I bite my tongue bloody. Tamika's body jerks beside me, her leg twitching, her cries hoarse and broken. "Teaching you your place," Vance growls, cranking the voltage, his swastika glowing as he laughs. "Nobody cares about trash like you." The pain's a white-hot wave drowning us, but we lock eyes through the tears, mouthing "we're enough" to keep from breaking. They unstrap us after an hour, dumping us back in the cell, our skin blistered, our breaths ragged. "He bought a liar," Tamika rasps, collapsing on the cot. "He's scared shitless." I nod, trembling. "That's why he's rushing it." In his Birmingham mansion, Judge Victor Grayson paces his study, the chandelier casting shadows over his bald head. The room's thick with cigar smoke, a whiskey bottle shattered on the floor, glass crunching under his polished shoes. The protests rattle him. Sarah's report a knife in his gut, but he's got a fix. A scrawny inmate paid 50 grand to swear we confessed, his word backed by forged audio Grayson's tech guy whipped up. "Brilliant," he mutters, grinning at the TV as the execution's reinstated, the governor folding under his bribes. He grabs the photo of Isaiah with the gun, a relic from their failed deal, and clutches it, knuckles white. "Your girls are done," he says, voice shaking with triumph and terror. He smashes another mirror, shards flying, blood streaking his hand as he screams, "They're bluffing!" Our words, "We know what you fear," echo in his skull, a ghost he can't shake. He sees Isaiah in every shadow, hears him in the protest chants, and it's driving him mad. The audio leak was bad, the halt worse, but this confession seals it. He dials his shadow contact, voice low. "They're still fighting, speed it up, no mistakes." The line crackles with agreement, and he stares at the city lights, sweat beading on his neck. Isaiah's daughters are a curse, and he'll burn. Them to ash to silence it, even if he's unraveling in the process. Back on death row, we lie on the cot, bodies trembling from the shocks, skin raw and blistered. My shoulders a furnace, Tamika's legs numb, but we're plotting through the haze. Sarah's out there, I whisper, voice cracked. She'll dig. Tamika nods, her eyes fierce despite the pain. Protests are growing. He's panicking. We hear the chants through the walls, faint but steady, a lifeline in this coffin. Vance paces outside, his tattoo a blur, muttering about the big day. We've got no lawyer, no phone, just a letter and a world waking up. Grayson's rushing because he's scared, and that's our hedge. We'll fight till the last breath, needle or not. Drop a comment with number 1 if you think we should have trusted Lena again. Hit like if you're cheering for those protests to save us, and subscribe because this death row battle's heating up. What happens when the nation's eyes turn on us and Grayson's mask starts to slip? The death row cell at Pinewood Max feels smaller every day, its steel walls pressing in, the flickering bulb a mocking pulse above us. We're Talia and Tamika Jackson, 19, our bodies wrecked from torture. My shoulder a throbbing wreck, Tamika's leg a swollen, useless lump. The orange jumpsuits cling to our blistered skin, and we sit on the cot, backs pressed together, listening to the faint roar of protests beyond the razor wire. Sarah Miles's report and our smuggled letter lit a fire, thousands chanting our names demanding justice, but Grayson's fake confession has us back on the execution track, the clock ticking louder. We're holding on barely, but hope's a thin thread now. The TV in the common room crackles to life one morning, and Officer Vance shoves us in front of it, his swastika tattoo flexing as he grins. "Watch your mum cry," he sneers, jabbing. The remote. Loretta's face fills the screen, her grey curls wild, her eyes red but fierce as she stands at a Birmingham rally. "My girls are innocent," she shouts, voice breaking over the crowd's roar. "Grayson framed them, killed their lawyer, tortured them. We've got proof." She holds up our leaked audio, the guards' slurs blasting through speakers, and petitions flood the airwaves, hundreds of thousands signed demanding a retrial. My chest tightens, tears pricking my eyes, and Tamika grips my hand, her breath quick. "She's free," she whispers. "They're listening." The news cuts to a judge, a stern woman in black robes, her voice steady. Due to public outcry and new evidence, the Jackson twins case is reopened, retrial set for next week. Freedom glimmers sharp and real, and we slump against each other, dizzy with it. The protests swell, a sea of signs. Justice for Talia and Tamika. End Grayson's lies, stretching from Birmingham to Atlanta. Loretta's on every channel, her rosary beads clicking as she begs the nation to see us, not the killers Grayson's painted. The guards scowl, their boots heavier on the concrete, but we feel it. Victory, so close we can taste it through the pain. Grayson strikes back fast, a snake cornered and venomous. That night, the TV flares again, a different anchor this time, his tone slick with urgency. Disturbing footage from Pinewood Max. Talia and Tamika Jackson caught attacking guards, proving their violent nature. The screen shows us in the yard, grainy and distorted, swinging at Vance and his crew, except it's fake, spliced from old riot clips, our faces slapped onto someone else's fight. My stomach lurches, and Tamika's fist slams the cot. "He doctored it," she hisses, voice shaking with rage. The anchor continues. Experts confirm the twins' danger. Retrial cancelled, execution reinstated. The room spins, hope snuffed out like a candle in a storm. Vance storms in, his giant frame looming, and yanks us to our feet. "You're done," he growls, dragging us to the yard as sirens wail outside. We're still reeling when the real blow lands. A boom shakes the prison, dust raining from the ceiling, screams echoing through the walls. The TV cuts to breaking news. Explosion rocks Birmingham. The Jackson twins' family home destroyed, their mother feared dead. My knees buckle, and Tamika catches me, her cry raw and broken. "Loretta!" I scream, throat tearing, but Vance laughs, his swastika glowing as he shoves us back. "Guess your fans don't like you so much," he jeers, locking us in the cell. We collapse on the cot, sobbing, our world crumbling. Loretta's face flashes in my mind, her fierce eyes, her prayers, and I can't breathe, can't think. Tamika's shaking, her leg twitching, and she chokes out, "Grayson did this. A militia, a bomb, he's killing everyone." The news confirms it hours later. A racist group, armed and masked, claimed the blast, calling us criminals who deserve worse. Loretta's alive, barely, burned and broken in a hospital bed, but the retrial's dead, the public turning. Whispers of terrorist sisters spreading fast. We're buried alive now, shipped to a Supermax black site that night, a hole so deep no one will find us. The black site's a fortress in nowhere, Alabama. Its walls black and windowless, the air thick with silence. They strip us, hose us down and toss us in a cell no bigger than a closet, a single bulb buzzing overhead. My shoulders a furnace, Tamika's legs black with bruises, and we huddle on the floor shivering in fresh jumpsuits. The guards here don't talk, their faces blank masks, their movements mechanical as they lock us in. No sound reaches. Thus, no protests, no news, just the hum of the bulb and our ragged breaths. "He cut us off," I whisper, voice hollow. "World thinks we're monsters." Tamika nods, her eyes distant. "But we've got Dad's words." We whisper them now, Isaiah's last rally cry before Grayson killed him. Truth don't bend. It's all we've got left, a thread to cling to in this void. My hands tremble, tracing the concrete, and Tamika's breath steadies, her resolve, hardening. "He's scared we're still breathing," she says, voice low. "That's why he's hiding us. We're cut off. Loretta's fighting for her life and the nation's turned, but we're not done. Grayson's winning, burying us in this black hole, but his fear's a crack we'll pry open, even from here." In his Birmingham mansion, Judge Victor Grayson watches the bomb footage on a private feed, his bald head gleaming under a desk lamp, the study's dark cigar smoke curling around him, a whiskey glass steady in his hand as he grins. Loretta's house in flames, the militia's. His work plays on loop, a masterpiece of chaos. The fake footage was his idea, spliced by a tech guy he owns, and the bomb was the clincher, a favor from a racist crew he's funded for years. "Beautiful," he mutters, sipping the amber liquid, the burn soothing his nerves. The retrial's dead, the twins are gone and he's safe again. He grabs the photo of Isaiah with the gun, a trophy from their bloody past, and clutches it, knuckles white. "Your girl's lost," he says, voice steady now. The protests are fracturing, the public's rage flipping to fear, and he's got the governor in his pocket, spinning it all. He dials his shadow contact, voice calm. "They're in the black. Sight, no leaks, no trace." The line crackles with agreement, and he leans back, exhaling smoke. Isaiah's ghost is quiet for once. The twins bluff. "We know what you fear. Buried in that hole." He's won, or so he thinks, the city. Lights glinting beyond his window. Back in the black site, we sit in the buzzing dark, bodies broken but minds racing. My shoulders are pulsing agony. Tamika's legs numb, and we're cut off from everything, Loretta, Sarah, the world. "He thinks this is the end," I say, voice cracked. "He's wrong." Tamika nods, her grin faint but real. "We've got his fear, that's enough." We whisper Dad's words again. Truth don't bend, a mantra in this void. Grayson's hidden us, but he's scared, and that's our weapon. We'll find a way, even from this grave, to make him pay. The black site in nowhere, Alabama, is a void. Its black walls swallowing sound, the air cold and still as a crypt. We're Talia and Tamika Jackson, 19. Our bodies shattered husks after Grayson's bomb and frame-up. My shoulder a pulsing knot of agony, Tamika's leg a swollen, blackened wreck. The cell's a concrete box, no windows, just a buzzing bulb overhead and a steel door that hasn't opened in days. Our jumpsuits are stiff with sweat and blood, and we huddle on the floor, backs pressed together, shivering in the dark. Loretta's burned. The world thinks we're terrorists and we're buried alive here, but we whisper Dad's words. Truth don't bend, to keep from breaking. The guards are ghosts, silent shadows in black uniforms, their faces blank as they slide. Trays of grey mush through a slot. They don't speak, don't taunt, just watch us with dead eyes, but we feel the hate radiating off them. Starvation sets in fast. No real food, just scraps that turn our stomachs. And we're wasting away, my ribs sharp under my skin, Tamika's breath shallow and ragged. "They're killing us slow," I mutter. Voice cracked and she nods, her hand trembling in mine. Grayson wants us gone quiet. We're weak, fading, but we've got fight left, a spark they can't snuff out. We start tapping on the walls, faint knocks echoing through the concrete, and answers come back, other inmates, black and brown women like us, trapped in this hole. There's 6 of us total, voices in the dark, and we whisper plans through the pipes, our words barely audible. We need out, Tamika rasps, her leg twitching. A revolt, I nod, tracing the floor with cracked nails. Take their radio, call for help. It's a long shot, but we're dead anyway. Might as well go down swinging. We wait, listening, plotting, our hunger sharpening our resolve. The chance comes at night, a guard slipping up, leaving a door ajar as he shoves a tray in. My heart slams against my ribs, and Tamika's eyes meet mine, a silent signal. We lunge, weak but fast. My good arm grabbing his wrist, Tamika's elbow smashing his nose. He's a wiry man, no tattoos visible, but his snarls pure venom as he swings. I duck, pain exploding in my shoulder, and we wrestle him down, his radio clattering to the floor. Other inmates join, shadows bursting from cells, fists and feet, flying in a desperate blur. We're frail, starving, but rage fuels us, a storm breaking loose. The radio's ours, crackling in my hands as Tamika pins the guard, her knee on his throat. I twist the dial, static hissing, and shout into it. This is Talia Jackson, black site prisoner. We're innocent, Grayson framed us, help us. The others scream too, voices overlapping. Names, please, proof of this hell. We broadcast blind, praying it hits a frequency someone hears, the signal bouncing off these walls. Guards swarm, batons swinging, and we fight back, a ragged line of defiance. My arm's bleeding again, Tamika's leg buckles, but we hold the radio till they rip it away, boots crashing into our ribs. The feds raid at dawn, black vans tearing through the silence, floodlights piercing the dark. We're crumpled on the floor, blood pooling under us, when the doors blast open, agents in, vests storming in. Hands up, they shout, and we raise ours, trembling, barely alive. The guards scatter, their blank masks cracking, and we're pulled out, air hitting our lungs like a shock. Outside, the world explodes, crowds cheering beyond the gates, news choppers buzzing overhead. Sarah Miles's voice on a megaphone. The twins are free! My head spins, Tamika's hand grips mine, and we think it's over, victory snatched from the jaws of death. Grayson's next move lands like a sledgehammer. We're at a press conference hours later, bandaged and weak, leaning on each other as cameras flash. Sarah's beside us, her pen flying, when shots ring out, sharp cracks splitting the air. Our new lawyer, a young woman named Keisha Brooks, drops, blood blooming on her chest, her briefcase clattering to the ground. Screams erupt, chaos swallowing us, and we're tackled by agents, pinned as bullets whiz past. My shoulders screaming, Tamika's gasping, and we see him, a sniper on a rooftop, his scope glinting before he vanishes. The feds haul us up, cuffing us again, their voices hard. You're under arrest, terrorism. The TV flares that night, an anchor's voice booming through our new cell, a holding tank somewhere in Birmingham. Talia and Tamika Jackson linked to a sniper attack. At their own press conference, killing their lawyer. Authorities say they orchestrated it from the black site. My blood runs cold and Tamika's fist slams the wall, splitting her knuckles. He's framing us again, she growls, voice raw. That radio call. They twisted it. The footage. Rolls doctored audio of us planning the hit, our voices faked, the crowd's cheers flipped to boos. We're terrorists now, the nation's villains, and Grayson's won again. In his mansion, Judge Victor Grayson watches the sniper footage, his bald head shining under a chandelier's glow. The study's thick with cigar smoke, whiskey steady in his hand as he grins, a slow, crooked twist of his lips. The black site. Revolt rattled him. The feds raid a nightmare, but this sniper was his ace. A hired gun paid through layers of shadows, the audio faked by his tech guy. Perfect, he mutters, sipping the amber liquid, the burn calming his nerves. Grabs Isaiah's photo, gun in hand, and burns it in the fireplace, flames licking the edges as he laughs. Your girls are finished, he says, voice steady now. He dials his contact, voice low. They're cuffed again, terrorist label sticks, no more leaks. The line crackles with agreement, and he leans back, exhaling smoke. The last evidence, Isaiah's deal, the rainy night, turns to ash and he's untouchable. The twins buried under a lie so big no one'll dig them out. He smashes a whiskey glass, shards flying, his grin widening as the city lights glint beyond his window. They're gone and he's free, or so he thinks, his paranoia simmering beneath the triumph. Back in the holding cell, we sit on the floor, cuffs cutting our wrists, bandages soaked with fresh blood. My shoulders a furnace, Tamika's legs numb, and we're staring down a terrorism rap, Keisha's death on our hands. He's playing God, I whisper, voice cracked. Sniper, audio, all him. Tamika nods, her eyes fierce despite the exhaustion. We've got to fight smarter. We're cornered, the world against us, but Grayson's fear is our edge. We whisper plans, plotting through the pain, knowing he's out there gloating. He thinks this is the end, but we're just getting started. The holding cell in Birmingham's federal lockup is a steel cage, its walls scarred with scratches, the air thick with the tang of rust and despair. We're Talia and Tamika Jackson, 19, our bodies broken shells after the black site and sniper attack. My shoulder a throbbing mess, Tamika's leg a swollen ruin. The orange jumpsuits chafe our blistered skin, and we sit on a concrete bench, cuffs biting our wrists, the weight of a terrorism charge crushing us. Keisha's blood still stains our memory, the sniper's shots echoing in our ears, and we're branded killers now, the world's hate pressing in. But we're not done. Grayson's fear is our lifeline and we're clutching it tight. The terrorism trial looms, a circus set for tomorrow, and we've got no lawyer, no allies, just a public defender who stinks of cheap cologne and shrugs at our pleas. Evidence is stacked, he mutters, flipping papers, his tie crooked. Audio says you planned the hit. We glare, knowing it's Grayson's fake, but he's gone, leaving us to rot. The cell's got a glitch, though, a courtroom audio system wired into the wall, a leftover from some old setup, and Tamika spots it, her eyes glinting. We hack that, she whispers, voice raw. Play his own words back. My heart leaps, a spark in the dark, and we start plotting, our minds racing despite the pain. We've got one shot, and it's now. The guards are sloppy tonight, buzzing. From a football game, their chatter loud outside. I twist my good arm, slipping a hairpin from Tamika's matted curls, a relic from before Pinewood, and we fumble with the cuffs, picking the locks with trembling hands. A metal clicks and we're free, wrists raw but unbound. Tamika limps to the wall, prying the audio panel open with the pin, wires spilling out like guts. She's no Jamal, but we've watched him enough. And I hold the bulb steady, its flicker, guiding us. Red to ground, she mutters, twisting cables, and I nod, sweat beading on my brow. Can we pull this off? Will it even work? It does. The system hums, a faint crackle, and we've got access. Courtroom mics, speakers, all live tomorrow. We've hoarded scraps of Grayson's voice, snippets from TV, smuggled recordings from Pinewood, pieced together by memory and desperation. Tamika splices them with the hairpin, her hands shaking, and I whisper lines to match. His rants about keeping blacks down, his sneers from the trial, his panic after our bluff. It's rough, choppy, but damning, a Frankenstein of truth. We rig it to play on loop when the trial starts, a bomb set to blow his lies apart. The guards don't notice, too drunk on their game, and we snap the cuffs back on, hiding our work, hearts pounding. Morning comes fast, and they drag us to court, a sterile room buzzing with reporters, the air thick with tension. My shoulders, screaming, Tamika's leg drags, but we sit tall, eyes locked on the judge, a grey-haired man with a pinched face. The prosecutor's smug, waving, doctored audio of us planning Keisha's death, and the jury, half white, half scared, leans forward, ready to bury us. Then it hits. The speakers crackle and Grayson's voice booms, raw and unfiltered. I framed them, kept blacks down, Isaiah's girls had to go. Gasps ripple through the room, cameras whirl, and the judge bangs his gavel, face red. What is this, he shouts, but it loops relentless. Slurs, threats, panic, chaos erupts. Reporters scramble, jurors blanch, and the prosecutor stammers, papers slipping from his hands. We sit still, hearts hammering, watching Grayson's empire crack. The judge orders a recess. then returns, his voice shaking. Charges dismissed. Evidence tainted, misconduct clear. We're free, cuffs clanking off, and we stumble into each other's arms, tears streaking our faces. The courtroom's a storm, but we're out, air hitting our lungs like a shock. Sarah Miles rushes us, her pen flying, and we're heroes again, the nation's eyes flipping from hate to hope. Grayson's lost, or so we think. He doesn't let it end there. That night, we're home. Loretta's new place, a cramped apartment. After the bomb, bandaged and weak, her arms around us, her burns healing slow. We're sipping tea, the TV droning victory, when the door splinters open. Grayson storms in, wild-eyed, his bald head gleaming, a gun in one hand, 3 hired thugs behind him. "You don't win!" he roars, voice cracking, his silk shirt soaked with sweat. Loretta screams and we lunge, but the thugs grab us, meaty hands pinning our arms. My shoulder pops, Tamika's leg buckles, and Grayson waves the gun, his grin unhinged. "Self-defense," he snarls. "That's the story." We're cornered, pain blinding, but we've planned for this. Months of traps in our heads. Tamika nods and I kick a hidden switch under the table, a camera we rigged with Jamal's help, streaming live to Sarah's feed. Grayson's ranting now, gun shaking as he spits. "I framed you, killed Isaiah, ran this city, you're nothing." The thugs tighten their grip, but we twist free. Tamika slamming a lamp into one's skull, me dodging a punch to trip another. Grayson fires, the shot grazing my ear, blood hot on my neck. But we dive behind the couch, Loretta hurling a pot at his head. The stream's live, millions watching, and sirens wail outside, close and loud. Grayson freezes, eyes darting as cops swarm, their boots thudding, guns drawn. "Drop it," they shout, and he staggers, the gun clattering as they cuff him, his thugs sprawling under batons. We rise, bloody but standing, Loretta clutching. Us, her sobs mixing with ours. The TV blares Sarah's voice. Grayson confesses live, arrested for framing the twins, murdering Isaiah Jackson. My ears bleeding, Tamika's legs a wreck, but we grin, fierce and unbroken, the room, spinning with victory. In the squad car, Grayson's cuffed, his bald head bowed, the city lights flashing past. His silk shirt's torn, his hands trembling, and he mutters, "They can't know, but they do, the world's seen it all." The cops' radios crackle with orders, his empire collapsing, and he stares out, eyes hollow, Isaiah's ghost, finally. Loud. We're in the apartment, bandaged again, Loretta's arms tight around us, and we breathe free, the weight lifting slow. "He's done," I whisper, and Tamika nods, her grin real. We did it. The night's chaos fades, but Grayson's glare lingers, a promise of one last fight. The Birmingham courthouse looms under a grey sky, its marble steps slick with morning dew as we climb them. Talia and Tamika Jackson, 19, our bodies still aching from Grayson's war. My shoulders a throbbing knot, stitched and scarred, and Tamika's leg drags, a swollen mess wrapped in bandages. But we stand tall, orange jumpsuits swapped for jeans and hoodies, Loretta's arms linked with ours. The air buzzes with tension, reporters swarming like flies, their cameras flashing as we enter for Grayson's trial. Last night's chaos, his gun, the live-streamed confession, plays on every screen, and we're heroes now, the city's hope. After months of hell. But something gnaws at us, a shadow we can't shake. The courtroom's packed, a sea of faces, jurors, lawyers, spectators, watching us take the witness stand. My hands tremble as I grip the rail, Tamika's breath steady. Beside me, and we swear to tell the truth, our voices cutting through the hum. The prosecutor, a sharp woman with a buzz cut, paces before us, her questions precise. "Tell us what happened," she says, and we do. Every blow, every frame-up, every slur from Grayson's guards. He framed us for robbery, murdered Marcus, bombed Loretta's house, I say, voice raw. He confessed it all last night. Tamika adds, "He killed our dad Isaiah too, covered it up." The jury leans forward, eyes wide, and gasps ripple through the room. Grayson sits at the defense table, cuffed but calm, his bald head gleaming under the lights, his silk shirt swapped for a grey suit. His lawyer, a slick man named Hargrove with slicked back hair, smirks as we speak, scribbling notes like he's got a secret up his sleeve. We finish, stepping down, and Loretta squeezes our hands, her burns hidden under long sleeves, her eyes fierce with pride. The prosecution rests, Grayson's confession looping on a screen. His wild rant, "I framed you, killed Isaiah, ran this city." And we think it's over, justice finally ours. The courtroom hums with victory, reporters whispering about life sentences, and we dare to breathe, imagining a future free of his shadow. Then Hargrove stands, his grin widening, and the air shifts, heavy and wrong. "The defense calls no witnesses," he says, voice smooth as oil, but offers new evidence. The judge, a stern man with grey hair, nods, and Hargrove pulls a file from his briefcase, thick and yellowed, its edges curling with age. My stomach twists. Tamika's hand tightens in mine and Loretta's breath catches. "What's he doing?" I whisper, but she shakes her head, eyes darting to Grayson, who's staring at us now, his gaze cold and steady. Hargrove strides to the center, holding up a photo, Isaiah, our dad, gun in hand, standing beside a younger Grayson, both smirking in a grainy alley. The courtroom falls silent, a hush like a held breath, and Hargrove's voice booms. Isaiah Jackson wasn't an activist. He was Victor Grayson's partner in a drug ring, targeting black neighborhoods for profit. This photo, these records, bank transfers, witness statements, prove it. My head spins. Tamika's grip turns to iron, and Loretta gasps, her rosary slipping to the floor. "No," I choke, but Hargrove keeps going, flipping pages. "Isaiah wanted out, threatened to talk. Grayson killed him, yes, but the twins knew. They found his coded confession as kids, a ledger in his Bible, and kept it secret, plotting revenge." The jury shifts, eyes narrowing, and Grayson leans back, his smirk faint but real. Hargrove drops the bomb. "Their words. We know. What you fear weren't a bluff. They've manipulated this from the start, playing victims to destroy him. The robbery, the murder charges, all Grayson's doing, but they orchestrated the chaos, the leaks, the sniper, to bury him alive." My knees buckle. Tamika catches me, and the room erupts, shouts drowning the judge's gavel. "Lies!" I scream, but my voice cracks, doubt clawing up my throat. Did we know? Could Dad have been that man? The prosecutor leaps up, face red. "Objection! This is speculation, no proof." But Hargrove's ready, pulling a tape from the file, sliding it into a player. Isaiah's voice crackles out, rough and low. "Grayson's got the cash, I've got the streets. We run this." Then a kid's voice, mine, high and scared, 10 years old. "Daddy, what's this?" Isaiah laughs. "Our secret, Talia, keep it safe." The tape cuts off, and the jury gasps, staring at us like we're strangers. Loretta's sobbing now, her hands trembling, and Tamika's eyes meet mine, wide with shock. "We didn't," she whispers, but memory flickers. Dad's Bible, pages we never read, a code we hid but forgot. Grayson takes the stand, his voice steady, eyes locked on us. "I framed them, yes, killed Isaiah, yes, but they've known all along, used it to ruin me. I'm guilty, but they're not innocent." The jury deliberates fast, too fast, and returns with a verdict that hits like a freight train. "Not guilty," the foreman says, voice flat. "Technicality, tainted evidence, coerced confession." The room explodes, reporters scrambling, and Grayson's uncuffed, his grin widening as he stands free. We're frozen, Loretta clutching us, the world flipping upside down. Heroes to villains in an hour, and he's walking out, untouchable. We stumble home, the apartment a sanctuary turned trap. Loretta's arms around us as we collapse on the couch. The TV blares, Grayson's free, hailed as a victim of circumstance. The nation split between outrage and applause. My shoulder throbs, Tamika's legs numb, and we're shaking, replaying Hargrove's words, that tape, Dad's voice. "Did we know?" I whisper, voice raw, and Tamika's eyes glint, fierce but lost. "We hid the Bible, never looked, maybe we did." Loretta's sobbing. "He wasn't that man." But doubt gnaws at us, a worm in our guts. The ledger's gone, burned with the house, and we're left with nothing. Heroes turned masterminds, or dupes turned fools. Days pass, a blur of silence and stares. Birmingham's streets buzzing with our fall. We rebuild slow, Loretta's burns, healing our bodies mending, but the shadow lingers. Grayson's out there, free, hunting us, his grin on every newsstand. We pack a bag one night, slipping out under cover of dark, the city's lights fading behind us. Jamal meets us at a gas station, his car idling, and we climb in, clutching a USB, real evidence, a backup of Grayson's rants we kept secret, our last card. He won't stop, I say, voice low, and Tamika nods, her grin sharp. Neither will we. We vanish, a ghost trail through Alabama's backroads, vowing revenge. Grayson thinks he's safe, his technicality a shield, but we're coming, armed with truth he can't burn. The nation's split, half cheering us, half cursing, but we're done playing victims or villains. We're hunters now, Dad's legacy a tangled mess we'll unravel. Grayson's fear our weapon. In a cell he'll never see, he finds a note, slipped under the door, scrawled in our hand, "This isn't over." He freezes, sweat beading on his bald head, and the city hums, waiting for the next strike. The saga of Talia and Tamika Jackson unearths raw truths about resilience, betrayal, and the murky waters of justice. Their journey teaches us that systemic racism isn't just a backdrop, it's a relentless force, twisting lives with calculated cruelty. Grayson's power thrived on silence, but the twins' defiance, even when broken and buried, proves that courage can crack even the toughest walls. Their story flips the script. What seems like victimhood can mask a deeper game, showing how truth bends under pressure but never fully breaks. Isaiah's hidden past, partner to Grayson's crimes, reveals that heroes can harbor shadows, forcing us to question who we lionize and why. The twins' choice to fight, not flee, after his acquittal hammers home a brutal lesson. Justice isn't handed out, it's seized, often at a cost that scars forever. Grayson's downfall, undone by his own fear, underscores how paranoia festers in the guilty, a self-inflicted wound that bleeds out control. Yet his freedom on a technicality mirrors reality's bitter edge. Systems built to oppress don't topple easy, and innocence isn't enough without proof. The twins' final vanish, armed with vengeance, teaches us that survival demands adaptability, turning pain into purpose. This tale's twist, that they knew more than they let on, challenges us to see beyond the surface, to weigh intent against outcome. In the end, it's a call to stand firm, to dig for truth, and to never let the wicked sleep easy. What do you think? Did the twins play Grayson, or did he play himself? Drop a comment below, hit like if their fight stirred you, and subscribe for more tales of grit and justice. Share this with anyone who believes in righting wrongs. Thanks for joining their battle. We wish you strength to face your own giants and uncover the truths that matter.